this cartridge has hundreds of microneedles. They puncture and painless in your skin, and then you basically get about a milliliter of blood within 5 minutes. And what we also have to mention here is we have modified the chemistry in the tube. We have changed the formulation to extend shelf life of the blood sample so that you can ship the blood sample for up to 3 days at room temperature, which is very convenient if people want to send it from their homes, for example. And so we have optimized this now first for domestic German mail. Up to 3 days is perfectly fine, but we have even cases where we shipped samples from France to Germany. It also made it within the 3 days.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so the next step is just to disinfect the area. So.
Nou, kreeg je zo'n armband zo gratis weer?
Ja.
Of moest je die andere kop sturen?
Nee.
Just an adhesive tape.
Nee, waarschijnlijk gebeurt het vaak. Dus,
Button until there's a click.
Yep. Perfect. Now you will see within a few moments that blood starts to fill the tube.
You don't feel anything.
Exactly, it's completely painless.
Yeah.
And this technology, it's not our technology, so there are a couple of players in the field. They work with microneedles, and they basically get it now to a degree that these products are CE certified. That means you can use it in Europe on patients, consumers in homes, which is very amazing because this opens up for us, of course, a convenient alternative to the standard blood draw conducted by a phlebotomist.
And could you explain why someone should do this?
What's that?
Why someone should do this blood research? What is the advantage of doing this?
With the self-protection or in general?
In general, what would the client benefit from it?
Yeah, so in general, the upside is you get a comprehensive health assessment based on this blood testing. So we basically measure the obtained blood sample in a magnetic field. In this measurement, which takes about 5 minutes, we capture about 250 metabolomic parameters. And in today's market, metabolomics parameters are sold at a premium. So basically, the type of general health assessment we are providing has a market value, if you would compare it with legacy methods, close to €1,000. In our case, because our method is highly efficient and based on physics, not on chemistry, we are highly cost efficient, and we basically are able to offer this type of testing at a fraction of cost of legacy methods. So basically, our test is about 10 times less expensive than existing legacy solutions, much faster. So the turnaround time, the purely technical turnaround time, takes a few hours. So you will receive your report within the next 2 hours, for example. Of course, operationally, if you have logistics in between, it will add time, but you can speak here of same-day results in many cases, or if you have longer shipment or operation times, it takes longer. But the core technology itself happens within about 1.5 hours, actually.
That's quickly.
And now speaking about why should someone do that, so I basically perform this testing myself every 2 or 4 weeks. Not only because I'm just having easy access, the main reason is I'm learning always something new about my own body, about my health. For example, my last test on Friday revealed me that I should be more disciplined with my allopurinol medication, which is urea scavenger. So if you eat a lot of meat, you need that. And so basically this helped me to really have a wake-up call and now to be a bit more disciplined, sticking to my prescription routine provided by my healthcare provider. So basically this is a nice real-world example. Or when I got bronchitis, it showed that inflammation is actually very high. And there's actually another interesting story I think we can share with you about pancreatitis. Do you want to share the story? Or?
Sure, yes. I got my blood drawn and all the general health assessment study were wet, and but I had no symptoms at all. And well, about 2 months later, I went to hospital with pancreatitis. And the general health assessment already told me that there's something wrong with my body and with pancreas and also with the inflammation. But I did not believe it, maybe, because I had no symptoms.
Yeah.
And then I went to hospital with pancreatitis and had very high inflammation markers. And 3 weeks after, again, I had no symptoms, felt healthy again, got my blood drawn, and it was okay so far. So everything was clean again. So that's my story, let's say, and it's a very good example of how this works and how preventive it is.
Yeah, exactly. And what makes your blood research different than anyone else who does the same?
So first of all, we started with understanding the healthy baseline. What is health? So basically, typically when you look at diagnostics companies, they're all chasing specific diseases. We had the opposite way. We basically started first collecting blood samples from healthy individuals. Right now we have about 190,000 healthy human profiles from women and men. And that's very important because we have our baseline for health based on biological sex and age. That means you have now the stratification of the reference range, because when you just use the standard reference range, which is established, it doesn't really do a good job, because you should not compare a 20-year-old healthy female with a 60-year-old healthy male. It just doesn't make sense because it's so different. And we add the stratification, the personalization layer to the reference range, which gives you a much more accurate, more personalized picture of your health status. This is our foundation. In addition, we have numerous hospital collaborations. We have about 30 clinical partners where we have basically disease-specific research. We have research and product development in the fields of oncology, neurology. We first decided to start with diseases which show immediate metabolomic or metabolic impact, such as diabetes, liver diseases like MASH or CDK in case of kidney, or also of highest interest is the cardiovascular area of diseases, because with the lipoprotein particles we can unveil a lot of information. What's also important is that the access to lipoprotein particle sizing, which is typically in today's legacy healthcare premium value, is included as part of the package with our method, because we just have access to this. So basically, if you want to get a lipoprotein profile with particle size, you would have to pay thousands or hundreds of euros in Europe. We get it as part of our package, and our method is 10 times less, let's say, expensive, right? And so I think this tells, a lot to the market without being too specific. But with our disruptive cost structure, we can address basically these type of fields and help also making personalized medicine accessible and affordable for everyone.
Okay, that's amazing. And in what kind of countries are you already having a device like this that they can do the research?
Yeah. So first, we are a software company, so basically we are independent of the instrument maker. However, we see an increasing trend of hospitals, especially hospitals looking at personalization of medicine. They are starting having NMR instruments, and these type of instruments are a great working horse for metabolomics, because they have industrial throughput, you have high scalability, and you have a good mix of performance and convenience to set it up in hospital labs. Now, we have hospital commercial partners mainly in Asian countries. We are also, because in Asian countries you have very high motivation for innovation in hospitals. So the main reason is it's a private payer system, and in private payer systems, based on our observation, there's always a higher appetite, bigger appetite to really in-source the newest technologies. But on the other hand, we see also great level of interest in Europe, and that's why we entertain a hybrid business model. We offer a send-in model for European healthcare providers, also for all other healthcare providers who are, let's say, interested. But typically we observe that there's the increasing trend of hospitals being equipped with an NMR like this, with the right automation which we see here on top, so that you can really digitize the blood samples locally and then get them basically analyzed with our software, which is accessible over the cloud. And the cloud itself can be also duplicated locally, because in some countries there's a desire to have a copy of the cloud, which is with AWS not a problem at all. So it's very straightforward.
Perfect.
And now, congrats to your first blood draw
first one.
at Lifespin.
I didn't feel anything, not when you placed it on and when I pushed the button, and when you took it off, you don't feel anything. So that's a really good response of it, and you can do it so easily back home to your own safe space.
And that's the first step actually to get deep health insights. That's what we say, and which is also true, which we improve in different cases, which is super exciting. And important is, although the sample collection is not really part of the technology, it's really important to have a convenient workflow that the technology is inviting. You should not be discouraged as a patient or as a consumer to use it because you don't want to go find a parking lot, go to a right and get a blood, right?
Yeah.
It takes forever and it's just inconvenient. And we want to eliminate this inconvenience.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And I'm waiting for the results now.
Awesome. Thank you.